Lamine Yamal. Nice curl! Oh, I say what
Lamine Yamal.
Lamine Yamal.
Lamine Yamal.
The winner this year is
Lamine Yamal.
Right now, Lamine Yamal might just be the scariest talent football has ever produced. Goals in the biggest games on the planet, taking on defenders twice his age and turning them into cones. And now, a World Cup winner before he's even 20 years old. Game after game, he proves that the future of football is here, and it's terrifying. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, because behind the flair, the trivelas and the trophies, there's a boy who was fighting for himself and his family long before the world knew his name. This is the story of Lamine Yamal. Lamine Yamal was born on the 13th of July 2007 in a small corner of Catalonia, and right from the start, there were signs he was meant for something bigger. You've probably seen the photo, a baby Lamine being bathed by Lionel Messi for a charity calendar. At the time, it was just a random shoot, but signs from destiny don't build a career. His parents separated when Lamine was just 3 years old. His dad worked as a painter, taking on odd jobs to survive. His mum worked as a waitress. On paper, the future didn't look bright for a kid from that background, but football was already everywhere around him, and in that household, it became everything. To understand Yamal, you have to understand his roots, and he never forgets them. Look at the 3 little flags on the back of his boots. They tell the whole story. His father is of Moroccan descent, his mother is from Equatorial Guinea, and Lamine himself was born and raised in Spain. 3 flags, 3 worlds, 1 player. But there's more to it than that, because in those early days, Yamal wasn't just playing for himself. His dad had once tried to go pro. It never worked out. So when he saw his son with a ball at his feet, it was like watching his own dream get a second life. He took Lamine to every training session, supported him at every turn, watched him grow. It was 2 dreams living inside one boy, and slowly that dream started to become real. In the first team, Xavi had brought back the old Barcelona way, trusting youth, giving La Masia talents a chance. And even though Yamal was only 15, Xavi was so blown away that he gave him the call. In April 2023, against Real Betis, Lamine made his debut, becoming the youngest player ever to represent Barcelona's first team. 15 years old, against grown men, what came next was a record-breaking storm. Into the 2023-24 season, he shattered records almost every month. Youngest player to start a La Liga game, youngest goal scorer in the Spanish top flight, youngest to play for the Spanish national team. And in that very same game against Georgia, he scored, becoming Spain's youngest ever goal scorer too. Barcelona had already decided he was the future. When Dembélé left in the summer of 2023, they didn't even bother replacing him on the right wing. Why would they? They had Lamine Yamal. And it's easy to see why, because the way Yamal plays, it's a cut above. He isn't defined by 1 or 2 touches. He's a one-of-one genius. The dribbling, the body feints, that low centre of gravity, it's like the ball is glued to his feet. He plays as an inverted winger off the right, and once he cuts onto that left foot, he produces madness, curling it into the far corner like he's not even trying. And the scariest part, the moment you think you've figured him out, he flips the switch. He beats fullbacks twice his age in tight spaces like he's running a training drill mid-game. Defenders started backing off him. Under Hansi Flick, it got even more dangerous. Flick built custom roles for his wide players, and Yamal was handed the freedom to isolate defenders one-on-one, hugging that touchline, waiting to strike. Talent this rare doesn't stay a club's secret for long, and in the summer of 2024, Lamine Yamal announced himself to the entire planet. At Euro 2024, a 16-year-old took over the tournament. In the semi-final against France, he scored one of the greatest goals the competition has ever seen, a curling rocket into the top corner from an impossible angle. Days later, on the day after his 17th birthday, Spain won the final, and Yamal set up the winner for Nico Williams. With that trophy, he became the youngest player in history to win a major international tournament, breaking a record that had belonged to Pelé since 1958. Young player of the tournament, the Golden Boy in 2024, the Copa Trophy in 2024, and again in 2025, the first player ever to win it back-to-back. And in the 2025 Ballon d'Or, he finished runner-up with many believing he deserved the top prize itself. He'd taken the number 10 shirt. He'd won a domestic treble with Barcelona. The conversation had changed. It was no longer about potential. It was about legacy. But every rise has its test. In early 2026, a hamstring tear struck right before the biggest tournament in football. Suddenly, the question wasn't how great he'd be at the World Cup. It was whether he'd even make it onto the pitch. Spain arrived as favourites, but their young star was carrying doubt. And when they stumbled in their opening match, the mockery began. In his first full 90 minutes against Saudi Arabia, Yamal scored inside 10 minutes, joining Pelé as one of the only players 18 or younger to open the scoring in a World Cup match. Then 2 words to over 40 million followers: "I'm here." The doubt was dead. The semi-final fell on his 19th birthday, and Spain tore France apart. Lamine Yamal was walking into his first World Cup final. Argentina and Lionel Messi, the man who once held him as a baby, for the first time ever on the biggest stage in sport. Messi versus Yamal. The 2007 photograph had come to life. The final was a war, and Messi was smothered into a shadow for 120 minutes. Then, deep into extra time, the boy from Mataró made his mark, beating 2 defenders and crossing for Ferran Torres to strike the winner. 1-0, Spain, champions of the world for only the 2nd time in their history. 19 years old, a European Championship, a World Cup, 2 Copa trophies, a Golden Boy, a Ballon d'Or podium, and a story that already reads like a legend. From a broken home in Mataró to the roof of world football, from a baby in Messi's arms to the boy who beat him when it mattered most. And the frightening part, for everyone else, there's still one trophy missing from his collection, the Champions League. So no, this isn't the end of the story. Lamine Yamal isn't the future anymore. He's the present, and we might only be at the beginning. If this hit you, drop a like, subscribe, and tell me down below. Is Lamine Yamal already the best player on the planet? See you in the next one.